name is Alison Scaplen, and I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, and my presentation is on 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. was a major civil rights movement activist from the 1950s until he died in 1968. He advocated nonviolent tactics like sit-ins and protests. And on April 4th, 1968, when he was 39 years old, he was in Memphis, Tennessee, and he was killed by James Earl Ray. Ray was sentenced to 99 years in prison, and he died in 1998. Robert Kennedy was also a major factor in the civil rights movement. He was a senator in New York and U.S. Attorney General, and in 1968 he announced his presidential candidacy, and he advocated against urban poverty in the Vietnam War. But he was also killed on June 5th, 1968. He gave a speech, and then he was shot by a Palestinian immigrant, and the next day he died. In the 1960s, the Vietnam War was going on, and on March 16th, 1968, a group of U.S. soldiers attacked a South Vietnamese village of My Lai, which they thought was a communist stronghold, and they killed between 175 and 400 civilians, as well as raping and committing other crimes. An investigation was eventually launched, and the only person convicted of anything was Lieutenant Calley Jr., and he was convicted of killing 22 unarmed men, women, and children. And he was sentenced life in prison, but he only ended up serving 3 years of house arrest. And it made Americans really mad because he was the only one that was charged, and they tried to cover it up, that the U.S. soldiers had done all the bad things that they did to innocent people. Sports were also a big part of 1968. The Olympics were in Mexico City that year. And before the games even started, Mexican military opened fire on thousands of college students that were protesting. And because of that, on October 16th, 1968, Tommy Smith, who won the gold medal for the men's 200-meter race, and his teammate John Carlos, who won the bronze medal in the same event, stepped to the podium, and they wore no shoes, they wore black socks, civil rights buttons, and one black glove each, and that symbolized poverty among African Americans. And when the Star-Spangled Banner played, they raised their arm and their fist and bowed their head as a gesture to protest against racism in America. And they were later suspended from the Olympics because their behavior was considered inappropriate. Arthur Ashe was the first African American to ever secure a Grand Slam tournament crown, and was also the first American since 1955 to win a championship for his country. He changed tennis. In 1968 was the first year when amateurs and professionals competed together under the same roof, and he just completely transformed the sport of tennis. It was also a big year for music. Jimi Hendrix, his born name was Johnny Allen, and then he changed it to James Marshall. He was a self-taught musician and a high school dropout who served a brief term in the Army. And he played with various bands, but in 1968, he released his last album, which is considered his best and one of the most influential albums of the 1960s. And then he died in 1970 from an accidental overdose. That's it.
You go back to your last.
Questions?
What year did Arthur Ashe die?
I don't know if you guys know.
He has a, you know he got AIDS.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the date on that. I know they do have a bust of him in Richmond. He's from the Richmond area. He's a Virginian.
Don't they have like an entire sidewalk which is so like famous?
Yes. And this one also. Let's do a field trip to Richmond.
Let's do it.
Any other questions? All right, let's give Allie a good hand.